Okay. Okay, so basically, this talk, we're going to be talking about Venus, relationships, um, and the topic is obviously, where do we get our love from, or where do we get our need to love from? So we're going to be talking a bit about the mythology behind Venus, what our Venuses can reveal about our love language, how we love, why we love, the definition of love, what or why is duality sort of fundamental to our lives, and also has this sort of effect on the universe as well. And I'll also talk a bit about this duality, the opposites, and with Mars being opposite Venus, and also the first house being opposite the seventh house, which Venus rules. So the self and relationships and how this sort of both comes into play. So Venus, like I was saying, is planet of love, relationships, the other. So we have myriad examples of Venus in religion and mythology, and Hera, the goddess of women. There we go. There she is. She's a goddess of women and marriage and justice as well. So she happened also to be very faithful, but also very jealous to her husband and also brother Zeus and his lovers. So she sent creatures like the crab, which is the Cancerian archetype, to go and kill his children. And Hercules is one of these children. So Hercules then, of course, kills the crab, and Hera rewards the crab by putting him in as a constellation in the sky for his service and his loyalty. But like Hera and Venus, they never really do sort of maybe the dirty work, and they sort of give the orders, they look good while doing it, and they're never really sort of amongst battle or amongst the drama. They're very much the person that sort of stands back a little bit. Is someone trying to say something? You can jump in whenever you like if anyone's got any questions or anything. Okay, so this might be bringing true to some experiences in relationships that we have, this theme of jealousy. So we've maybe seen it or been a part of it. So why is it then that when we love, we have such an ability to be jealous or vengeful or spiteful or possessive? So is it because maybe that Scorpio is the opposite of the second house of Taurus, which is also ruled by Venus? Or is it maybe that the opposition of what we love is in fact ourselves? So the opposite to the seventh house relationships is ourselves, or this identity we create, which is the first house. So something may be threatening or threatening to take half of us away by another person coming in or taking that our partner away. Could it be maybe like chopping us in half? Maybe that's why we have these strong feelings. Maybe to understand this, that we attach maybe an identity to our partners for a reason, because it's sort of a reflection of our shadow and a part of us that we need to love and nurture. So this is why the symbol for Venus is Aphrodite's mirror, to symbolize the reflection of the other is ourselves. And also we've got Lakshmi here, another Venusian goddess. So she's representing wealth, good fortune, luck. She's also depicted seated on a lotus flower, a symbol for feminine creation. And there was also controversy around her and possession of her, similar to Venus. Okay, so basically it's all sort of designed for our own evolution and to become more conscious of ourselves. That's why we have these oppositions. But maybe we don't sort of realize this so much, and we do get very terribly hurt when, again, something is sort of taken away or threatened, our partners or seemingly a part of ourselves. So I was thinking about this as well. Maybe it's designed this way for us to sort of realize that we're not actually truly separate from another, and we need the other to understand ourselves and our reality. So understanding that you and I and we are the same energetically. We're all sort of consciousness experiencing itself from different perspectives. So this can also help with this burden that we go through in relationships, this push and pull that we have with all oppositions. So speaking of faithful again, so what is Venus most faithful or drawn to? Is it love or best friends or money or attention? So if we just take the broad brushstroke of Venus and love, so she's faithful to love, she's looking for love wherever Venus is in your chart. And obviously whatever house it's in, the aspects to it, what sign it's in is going to obviously play out in that way. For example, like Scorpio is going to, or in the 8th house or conjunct Pluto, it's going to be passionate, forbidden, maybe even dangerous love. And then you've got like Cancer or the 4th house of the moon, it's protective love, Gemini, conversational love. So Venus is where and how and with who we want to give and receive love. And again, it's sort of fundamental to understand this if we want to feel fulfilled in a relationship, to know what we recognize as love is going to be different for everybody. This is where a lot of couples can fight, obviously, and feel unloved because in a relationship, if you don't define what their definition of love is and how they want to be loved, then it's going to be very tricky, and it needs to be a conversation or acknowledgement. So, and also to understand the other person's is going to be maybe different, and to work with that. So pleasure and aesthetics and art and beauty and attraction are also, I see, sort of a manifestations of love and what we love. So let's talk about what actually is love. So is it enjoyment? Is it pleasure? Is it happiness? Is it jealousy? Is it possession? Is it admiration? Is it a feeling? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be all of those things. We have a very different definition, like I was saying before. Everyone's got their own very specific definition. That's okay, and the point is to define it. So I think that these things mentioned are more maybe the realm of the moon, these emotional type ways of experiencing love. And Venus is maybe more the realm of values. So values is what we live by and what we apply to our lives and our relationships. So again, defining it. If it's values, what are those values and how do you apply them, or how are you conscious of them in your relationships? Or maybe it is a feeling, and do you help sort of cultivate that in everyday life, or do you just sort of wait for it to sweep you up? So understanding that is also important, I believe. Your Venus has a higher and lower manifestation or expression, just like every sign and archetype. And that's why I'll talk so much about the Martian energy, because Mars is the opposite of Venus. So it represents anger, compulsion, restlessness, aggressiveness, drive, ambition. It's the masculine side to the feminine Venus. So it's like yin and yang. So what could we do to create the heat in love? We wouldn't have sort of love without heat because we've got Mars opposite Venus. And what would we do maybe sort of without that refreshing peace after an argument? It's sort of the storm cools, and then you have that peace, the Venus, after we have an argument, Mars. So it's okay to experience both sides of these extremes, these oppositions. I think that's the point of oppositions. You experience maybe the extremes, a pendulum swing from one to the other, but to be conscious of what they are, that you are going back and forth, and to find maybe a peace point in the middle of balance. Sounds very Libran, but also with all oppositions, to find a middle ground is very helpful in all areas of life, and to not be fully in one or the other. That sort of peace point between disruption and peace, and then love and hate, all of these oppositions we also get in relationships. So where does this feeling of love and the other, loving the other, come from? Why do we do it? Remembering that Pisces is also exalted in, Venus is also exalted in Pisces, and the 12th house is the womb. So connected, it means that we're sort of connected to that sea of universal consciousness. This is where we come from and where we long to sort of go back to